Yo, 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 what up, what up? It's your boy Snazzy J coming back at it again with another list, this time on October 1st, the 48th birthday of the House of Mouse. And how appropriate because today we're going to be, tonight rather, I'm going to be talking about all four parks. That's right, this is the comprehensive list, including the very best of the best. We've talked about each park, but now let's just get, the real best of the best here. Top 10 rides at Disney World. I'll probably be doing a top 10 shows as well, although there are significantly more rides to choose from. So bear in mind, shows are excluded from this list, so it's going to be just rides. So, you won't be seeing, Phantasmic or anything like that on here. But I may repeat a lot of the stuff I've said, because these are all stuff that you've seen in my previous four lists for each park. Um, but this is just like where they rank in going head to head with each other. So if you're ever park hopping and you want to do like if you want to get them all in one day, here are the ones that you gotta hit, especially if it's your only time at Disney World. All right, this one was actually so competitive. I actually wrote them down here on this little piece of paper here. It was so difficult for me to put them in the right order. I kept changing the order, but I think I finally got it now. Keep in mind, it's not just the top one or few that are good. I mean, to make it onto this list, first of all, to make it onto any of the list, to make it on the top 10 for the park, is a really impressive feat, especially for something like Magic Kingdom where there's like 45 attractions. And then to make it to the best of all parks list, well, it's got to really be something special then, because that's equivalent to making it to like the top 2 to 3 in a specific park. So these are really really good. All right. Okay. Yeah, and even just making it as an honorable mention. All right, I've done enough talking here. Number 10, I'm giving to Toy Story Mania at Hollywood Studios. Ooh-wee, this is a real fun one here. I know it's a 3D screen ride, but it's not like, Star Tours or anything where you just kind of sit there and, watch the screen. I mean, the ride moves, it has a track and all that. Um, but yeah, it's just so fun. And again, I expect that you already are familiar with what each of these rides are because I expect you to have watched my list videos of each individual park by this point, where I describe in great detail each of the attractions on the list. So I'm just sort of recapping why they're the best of the best here. But Toy Story Mania is just such a fun, immersive experience. Honestly, just like I like anything the competitive, that they do with the point scoring rides. I always get best in vehicle, even, and that's going up against the greats too, Um, but um, but yeah, it's Toy Story, it's Midway, it's Mania, and it sure is Turbo. So it's a good 6.5 minutes long. You get your 3D glasses. It shouldn't cause motion sickness. It's just a nice, fun ride for the whole family. It's competitive. It's immersive. It's pretty much immersive because it's competitive. It gives you something to do. You're trying to win. You use a different strategy every time, so you can make it as different as you want. It's a really solid attraction. So I think it deserves a place on the list because it's just so blasted fun. Every time I go on it, I have a good time, and honestly, that's really what matters. On this list, it doesn't always have to be about the most grandiose appearance, the most detailed theming, the most impressive technology. When it comes down to it, it's really just about what's the most fun. And Toy Story Mania is just a really, really fun ride, and everyone who I've ever gone on it with agrees. So it's a solid pick. You could like it's a good ride for just about any audience. I mean, I don't think I know anyone who doesn't care for the ride actually. So it's a fun ride for everybody. The queue is not too bad. The standby you still keep moving, but you could wait a while in that. So I would recommend the fast. I'd recommend a fast pass for all these because these are some of the more popular attractions. All right, number 9, I'm giving to the Kilimanjaro Safaris at Animal Kingdom. Bet a lot of you forgot about this. Oh, you thought it was only going to be thrill rides, huh? Well, why would I include Toy Story Mania then? It's not a thrill ride, but Kilimanjaro Safaris, it's an awesome ride. I was gonna say Spaceship Earth is the longest ride in Disney World, but no, Kilimanjaro Safaris is. Um, It clocks in at about, well, it averages about 25 minutes. The exact length actually varies depending on the driver, the time of day, the animal activity, and the specific route you choose to go on. Like, for example, if they're having trouble loading one of the vehicles or something, they may make the ride longer to sort of, delay you coming back to the station. Or if there's a long line, they may make the ride shorter, and just kind of cut to the sandwich. So, but yeah, it's massive. It's 110 acres. I think just that ride alone is like the size of the Magic Kingdom. I thought I remember hearing somewhere, but it's massive. I'm not sure what their deal is with nighttime tours because like sometimes they had a phase for a while when they first started this whole nighttime thing, like around the time they opened Pandora and introduced like Rivers of Light and all that, where they had like nighttime safaris. They weren't anything spectacular. Like I was expecting it to be like, oh, at night, we'll have like an interesting light display. I understand they don't want to scare the animals, but they could have like a star shower on maybe, or like those little like plastic or glass or whatever they are, like dragonfly things that have like a light that changes colors in there, like one of those dim ones. Like they could do something at least, like take advantage of the fact that it's night. Maybe have some nocturnal animals in there. Some owls, some raccoons. I don't know. Mosquitoes. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, no, it's pretty much just the same thing. Only it's really dark and most of the animals are sleeping, so it's kind of underwhelming. But it is pretty cool. Like a nighttime safari, it's got a ring to it. But the last bunch of times I was there, it closes at dusk anymore. I think even when the park's open till like 10 o'clock. So I guess they don't do night times. Yeah, I don't know, but it's really cool. It's drastically different every time. I mean, you'll see, you actually won't see the same animals. I mean, like it's basically just hit or miss with what you will see. It's not like, oh, now there's this animal in here on this day. It's like I wish they rotated it, but I mean, I think it's the same animals there, but it's so fun. Yeah, I go on it every time we go to the park. I'm still not sick of it because it's not the same thing over and over again. You could get off and go right back on. You're going to have a different experience because you'll be with another driver probably. I don't think I've ever had the same driver twice in all my life there. And they, like the jokes are different then, and a lot of the stuff. Kind of it's kind of like a Jungle Cruise-esque thing, but it's just a lot more real and genuine. So it's really cool, and I think it's a nice, fun ride for everyone. It can be bumpy sometimes, but that makes it more authentic. It's part of the experience, in my opinion. But yeah, they do a good job simulating the African plains or whatever. I mean, it's not like I've been to the African plains, but it's yeah, it looks like the Lion King. All right, number 8, I'm gonna give to Test Track. This is a really unique ride. Test Track. First of all, hats off to Epcot for not having every blasted thing be themed after a Disney intellectual property. Now, they had Nemo, and I mean that wasn't even that big of a success, but all right. And then they have Frozen recently, so and now they're building a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. So I hope this isn't oh, and then they're opening Ratatouille soon. So I hope it's not just gonna like become the next Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios in terms of just having everything themed after movies and such. Because I really liked what Epcot had going with just having all original things as Spaceship Earth, Soarin', Mission Space, Test Track, um, Living with the Land, the Figment. I mean, Figment was their mascot, the Mickey Mouse of Epcot. Um, but all this stuff. So, but really, Test Track is a prime example of that because Test Track is the fastest ride in all of Disney World, by the way. Although yes, it goes faster than the Rock and Roller Coaster, but the Rock and Roller Coaster keeps it up for longer. Test Track only reaches 64.9 miles per hour for about like 10 to 20 seconds. So, one thing I have against Test Track though is like, how like Skull Island, Reign of Kong, and Universal's Islands of Adventure, like if there's a thunderstorm or whatever outside and they close the outside rides, they just cut the outside portion and just have it go inside. Why can't they do that for Test Track? Like, and they close that down for anything too. Like they'll leave like at the other parks, I'll see like oh, Slinky's open and, Splash Mountain's open and all that, but Test Track's closed due to inclement weather conditions. It's like, oh, come on, there's a cloud like 10 miles away, and like Test Track's the first ride to close, and it's an indoor ride. I mean, there's an outdoor part. It lasts for like a minute. Like it's basically like Skull Island. Like, why can't they just have that track? I mean, I understand back when they built it in the '90s that that was a sophisticated concept even for Disney. But like, you figure after they redid it in like what 2015 or something, like they could have made that one of the things after they saw it becoming an issue because they were closing it like every day. But yeah, whatever. But while I did like the old version, especially the pre-show, I gotta say the new version truly is better. Um, I like the track and everything. There's less in-your-face sponsorships about it. And I'd say my favorite thing about the renovation now is creating your own car, because I have a ball with that. I'm like a little kid with that. I love creating a new car. I make them really different every time. I get experimental, and it's a fun little chance, to get in there. And also in signature Epcot fashion, on the exit ramp, they got all this stuff to do. You can make your own commercial in the first room. It's before you get to the cars. Yeah, it's the very first room actually. As soon as you get past the pictures, when you go there, there's like a car, I think, and then there's like computer screens, like Intervention style around it. Go up to one of those. You can create your own commercial. It's pretty underrated. It's actually pretty cool. Um, yeah, like Epcot's the only park that has that kind of stuff, and they got a whole bunch of stuff. Then they got like a race you can participate in. They got like a whole like section and all of that. Like then you can like go in the cars and get your picture in them. Like it's just cool, I like it, and of course, not to mention the ride itself. It's also sort of a competition, not as much as like Toy Story Mania, but it's like, my car won the efficiency test, and like oh yeah, well we got you on power. Oh, well just wait for the responsiveness test. Like that kind of stuff. But it's fun. I mean, I usually mop the floor with whoever I get paired up with, but it's a good ride. It's fun and it's original. It's a blasted original ride that took some imagination. So hats off to them for that. May they never get rid of it. Number 7, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's just a fun ride, honestly. I mean, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's just a cool ride. It's not anything too impressive. It's not, very technologically advanced. It's not particularly smooth. It's not new or anything. It doesn't go very fast. It only gets up to like 20-something miles per hour. It sure feels fast when you're on it, but by roller coaster standards, that's not that impressive. It doesn't set any records. It's not the tallest roller coaster, the fastest, the longest, the biggest, the most expensive, anything like that. But it's just fun. Like I said, at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. What am I having fun on? I really have a fun on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, especially in the back seat, especially with the loose restraint, and especially at night. So if you can get all three of those things, you're sure in for one wild ride. It truly is the wildest ride in the wilderness, assuming, of course, the wilderness is just Frontierland. But, it's it's really cool, and again, that's not themed after anything at all. They made up the Big Thunder Mining Company special for the attraction, as far as I know. So, and like the queue is pretty weird. There's not that much to do. They just sort of like rope you around in this maze structure. But there's like little like sawmill things, whatever, that you can like you crank the thing and it like makes a scary noise or so. I don't know, but you get an upper body workout. But from the moment it starts, it's just got that classic old fashioned feel. It's got 3 chainless. It's got the super turbo crunchy one at the first. You go through the bats. There's water at the top sometimes, so that's fun. And and you careen your way through the nooks and crannies, the caverns, whatever the park map says, and or what it said in 2008. Rather, they sort of cut back on the ride descriptions now. But because they used to be like a paragraph, now they're only a sentence. But and like it's so vague too. Like for the shows, it'll be like meet Mickey and his pals for a hootin' hollerin' good time or something like that. It's gonna be like, wow, how am I supposed to know what the show's about? Like, oh, I just want to know if Mickey Mouse is in it. It's Disney, of course. Mickey blasted Mouse is in it. What do you think? But yeah, anyway, so. but yeah, there's three chain lifts, and the second one's outside, and you go in the building. There's the fake out thing, and it's really neat. It's neat. It's just really fun. It's a cool ride to go on, and it really deserves to be on this list. All right, moving on here. Number 6, Expedition Everest, subtitle Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. Um, I see why this is actually Walt Disney World's most expensive ride to date, I believe, as of October 1st, 2019, or at least their most expensive roller coaster for sure. But how can we forget about this one, folks? I mean, you like when you I mean, this is a prime example of really the ideal roller coaster. Honestly, it's like whatever you're looking for at a roller coaster, it's got it. It starts off, it's got that nice little, woohoo, whatever, and then you go up that big, scary chain lift. I mean, that thing is like, and it gets stuck too. Like one in every like 3 times you'll go on it, you'll get stopped toward the middle of the chain lift. Not usually for more than like 30 seconds to a minute, but still, I just find it funny that happens. And you go through this little like tool shed looking thing, whatever, which I've been stopped in there, so I've had plenty of time to analyze it. Which, by the way, I mean, even the queue of the ride, like everything, it's very intricately themed. It's really impressive. They put a lot of effort and a lot of money into it. Like all the rooms you go through, especially in the standby queue, but even a little bit in the fast pass. It's like the gift shop thing and like the whole and the posters in the last room and everything. Like it's that wow, they put so much effort into that. And so you go on the ride then, and you have the train and the chain lift, and you got that drop then, and then you go, like it becomes a big boy roller coaster then, and it looks like train tracks, but it's not, and it's just fine. You go into the mountain you go to the chain lift, and the track's eaten. We got to go back, and you go backwards, and like haha, you're going down now, and so like boom, and the track changes. You go on the mountain, you see the Yeti, and you get launched out, and the turbo thrusters come on, and you go you do whatever. You go that part that feels like you're going upside down, but you're really not. And it's you go all around. You feel the G-force. You come back out. You go forward again. You go out of the mountain. You do a whole like a loop around the twisty thing. And you go back in. You get to high five the Yeti if you're on the right side. Yeah, sit on the right side. That's the side that gets to the Yeti. And if you're tall like me, just reach up, make sure you have the restraint loose. And by the way, all roller coasters are just turbo-fied. So much funner when you have a loose restraint. And when I say loose, I don't mean dangerously loose because obviously they won't greenlight the ride with a dangerously loose restraint. But I just mean like there's techniques you could use to make it seem like it's tighter than it is. And then obviously if they say like we're gonna have to ask you to get off, then then you tighten it. So like I think I could go a little more, whatever. But most of the time, they don't care. It's just yeah, all right. But yeah, it's a lot funner that way. And so and then you slam on the brakes and you come back in. I mean, every second of that ride, it's pure gold. There's just every detail from things to look at, from the feel to the track to the length to the features to everything. I mean, it's something straight out of some of all thrills, honestly, but like with more visually appealing and real. I mean, it's just an impressive ride. Like honestly, that's a Six Flags quality roller coaster, out of a family amusement park. So I am really, really impressed. It is truly a masterpiece. Just an absolute masterpiece. May they never get rid of it. All right, on to the top 5 now. We're getting serious. Number 5 is going to be Spaceship Earth at Epcot. Not to be confused with the Spaceship Earth at any other park, but Spaceship Earth. It's yeah, you know, it's 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 immersive. I guess would be the best adjective for me to use to describe it because uh, it's just really neat. Like at first, I didn't actually believe that he was inside the ball. I just thought there was like a lie that their parents told their kids. Like and there was actually like something magical going on, like there was a hidden building sort of camouflaged by the ball, or it went like underground or off to the side or something. Like, I couldn't believe that they cram a 16-minute long ride that doesn't stop at all. It's not like it stops for like to look at screens or anything. Like, it's a constantly moving ride for 16 minutes inside of that little sphere. But they do. It's unbelievable. It's a ride inside a golf ball. It's revolutionary. But you go in the Spaceship Earth. There's not usually a line for this one. This is probably the only one on this list that you're not going to need a fast pass for. You'll get offered plenty of them, but it's not worth it. Save it for the others. You'll wait like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But they had the same picture from 1982. And you go in and you go on the ride. It's so everything about it is great. It's mind blowing. I notice new things every time I go on it, and I go on it very often. And like the animatronics, the narration, the sensory appeal, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the tastes, the feels. Like if you could reach out and touch the animatronics, that's probably my favorite thing to do on these kind of rides, the slow moving rides. Is like lean over on the edge, because I'm tall, so I can reach out long arms. I've never been asked to leave the ride. I think like maybe one time one of the ride operators made like a clever remark as I disembarked or something, like the touchy touched her hands over here. So I don't know, but like they said something like sort of passive aggressively that I just kind of chuckled at, but there hasn't been any serious ramifications for me. Obviously, I'm not advocating for any against the rules behavior here, but I'm just pointing out something. But like I'm helping them out in their case of authenticity. It's a truly authentic experience. The Egyptians feel like Egyptians. The Snosberries feel like Snosberries. It's really immersive. But yeah, just every scene of the ride, it starts off in space and it takes your picture while you're distracted looking at the stars and all that, and it's like, and you go to the mammoth scene, and then the narration says it took us 30,000 years to come up with our next bright idea, which is debatable, and then you go into the whatever the I forget the exact sequence, but like here is the invention of the papyrus, and here's the Library of Alexandria, and then here's the this and that. It on top of that all, it's very educational, and then it's photorealistic, and it makes you feel like you're actually there in a time traveling sphere. It's just all my favorite things: a dark ride, an educational ride, an immersive ride, a scene changing ride, time travel. Thematically covering multiple themes in multiple rooms, a nice long ride. It's just everything. It's all my favorite things. And you going in the tracks gradually going upwards as you go through time, and you get to the 20th century, and you see stuff you recognize, and you go to that internet tunnel that's really cool, and like if the ride breaks down there, you won't even notice. And then you get to the top, and you see the triangles on the roof, and you have that little projected Earth thing on the top, and then you get warned about a dozen times that to remain seated, at least during the transition backwards, and then you can stand back up, and it's like the computer comes on and asks you what language you speak, and then most of the time it selects it for you, and then you get whatever. If you can understand it from then on, you can answer the questions. And like then the whole way down, you go through these nice string looking things, the fun little beads to play with, like it's just so great. They look like jellyfish tentacles, and you go down, it creates the welcome to your future, and then you get off the ride, and there's all these games. There's the Power Puck game, and there's the other one, and like all this cool stuff. I would say it's a 10 out of 10 actually, and so are these top four. Speaking of which, let's get to it. Number 4 is Avatar Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. I'm sorry, it's a stationary 3D screen ride, but holy crap, it is just that immersive. I mean, a lot of people don't like this ride. Even within my family, there are some detractors to it, but I personally, I'm sold on it. I'm on team Flight of Passage. It may be based off a movie, but it still takes a lot of imagination because it's a fictional world. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think that Animal Kingdom is not the right park to put Avatar-themed land in World of Pandora, because it's supposed to be an educational park. You got Africa, you got Asia, You got Dino Land, which is I think located in one of the oceans, and Rafiki's Planet Watch and all that. And then you got Avatar: World of Pandora, which is a fictional place that should be in either Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, probably Hollywood Studios, but whatever. But yeah, for what it is, it's a 10 out of 10. I like both the rides, but Avatar Flight of Passage just really it blows me away. It's definitely worth it. Just everything about the ride, from the pre-show, the science jargon, the queue, all the stuff to look at, the whole interactive process, and then the chambers and the interactivity there, and all the dialogue and everything, and then you get to the ride and you go on the thing, you feel it breathing the whole time, you get all the sciencey jargon like this mission space on steroids, and then the ride starts and by the time you get off that, you don't even know what planet you're on. You don't even know what's real and not. Like, you start to think that the floor you're walking on is just simulated and you're actually in space, you're actually on Jupiter or something, You feel like just like everything you knew is a lie. You just rethink your whole life and every decision you've made up until that point. It's a really powerful experience. And, if you disagree, maybe you were just multitasking. Maybe you just didn't allow yourself to really get into it. But you just got to completely let go and surrender yourself to this ride. Because it's a journey. It is a very powerful journey. Like, you come off that ride crying. It's really emotional. It's a wow. It's a ride if ever there was one. It's certainly worth it. But believe it or not, that's not number one, because these top three I just felt were just that good, and it's a shame I don't have much time to talk about them. We only got like 4 minutes left. It's always a blasted time crunch. Number three is the Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios. I already went into great detail on this one. But like I said, the theming's just impeccable here. The Twilight Zone, I can't believe, I still can't believe Disney has a Twilight Zone themed ride. It's great. They did the whole, like, it's an original take on it. It's like a whole original episode of it. They do the way they have the tower. It's like the icon of the park. They have the interior especially. It's just flawlessly executed. The pre-show is amazing. They got the actual Rod Serling to make a very convincing intro, and it's scripted perfectly. And then you go into like the basement thing. It's perfect. The ride attendants are in full-on turbo gear. You get into the ride, and the whole mechanics of it, like it's charging while it's stopped, and then they have the thing go, and they have all the pins, and they have the computer generated whatever, and it's different every time. And then you go in and you got the elevator, you got the sequence, you get the regular hotel room, and then it turns into space, and then you can never tell it was a hotel room. And then you go up some more, you go into the thing where they have the backwards clock. They have the narration that you can never hear because the jerks next to you are just talking so loud. And then you go into the elevator shaft, and you just stop there for a suspenseful moment and then wait to see what happens, and then the ride starts, and it's just like 2 minutes of pure exhilaration, and then half the time there's a fake out ending, and then you go back and you come off, and you don't, you just like you go in the picture, if you will. And yeah, need I say more? I rest my case. The blasted Tower of Terror, you better go on it. Alright, number two is going to be the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. Oh yeah, you know it had to be on the list. You know it. I love music. I love rock music. I love roller coasters. I love thrill rides. I like Disney. I like just everything that this thing does, and it does it really, really well. I mean, to rank above Flight of Passage, you got to be a really special ride. So like it truly is something. You go inside of the G-Force Records, and there's the interactive game, and you go to this thing, and they crack some jokes, and you go to the pre-show, and they crack some more jokes, and it's the actual Aerosmith members, and you open the door, and they crack some more jokes, and you go, and the thing, you go along that netting, feel the adrenaline rush, feel it pumping through your veins, you go see the thing, you go lean against the fencing, through the fake construction zone, you'd see the car launching and just take off into the darkness, into the black at night, just charging straight ahead. And you go and you get closer to it, and they load you in, and the adrenaline's pumping, and you get down into the seats, and they put the harnesses on, and they push the button, and you move it forward, and there's no turning back then, and you go, and the ride's and you got the traffic jam, not traffic bugging you, then step on it, and then face forward, put your head back, and you go, and then you launch during the countdown, you go, it's 60 seconds, the whole a minute and a half. You go inside a donut. You do the corkscrew. You do the I-5 symbol. You go to the VIP parking thing, and you come out. You get to watch an Aerosmith concert. There's a whole gift shop. You get it's just oh. Yeah, again, I talk about this one in great detail, too, in my Hollywood Studios list, but you gotta go on it. Alright, in classic Watch Mojo fashion here, we're gonna get 3 brief honorable mentions, and I trimmed it down to 3. Splash Mountain, it's got a little bit of everything, whatever you're looking for. It's part water ride, part, slow ride, part animatronics. It's got a good musical thing, it's whatever you're looking for, it's got it. Soarin', it plays second fiddle to Flight of Passage, but it's also very emotionally powerful. It's one of the greats. It's not as good as Flight of Passage. I feel like if Soarin' was 3D, it very well could be. It sure would give it a run for its money. But yeah, definitely worth the shot. And the other one is Dinosaur, which I just feel is just an example of a Disney ride done good. Like it's so fun. It's just a neat little journey. It's just like an average Disney ride, but I just feel like it deserves attention because it's just really fun. I love everything about it. I love the pre-show. I love the ride, the whole hydraulics and everything. All right, with the few seconds we got left here, I want to talk about our number 1 pick, which is Space Mountain. And even better than the Rock and Roller Coaster. I wish I had this in my backyard. I talk about it in greater detail on my Magic Kingdom list. But I just love it. The whole just... I don't even know what to say about it. It's great. I love the ramp when you come off. It's an original concept. It's a perfect nightcap. I always say it as the grand finale whenever we go to Magic Kingdom. But yeah, anyway, I hope you like the list. That's all the time we got for this video. But happy October 1st, everybody. Stay turbo, and yeah.